NBA.
Mast and Keita set to tip, and here we go. BYU gets the first look at it.
Nebraska open in their man-to-man defense.
There's Saunders on the wing.
You mentioned Saunders, leading scorer a year ago at 16 a game. 80% free throw shooter, 50 from the 2 and 40% from the 3. So very versatile offensive player.
Shot clock winding down. Saunders in the lane. Tipped out. Jacobson comes away with it. Over to Lawrence. Kick over to Mast. Sanford pump fake. Jump shot. Rims out.
Yeah, great use of the shot fake by Sanford. Created that mid-range shot. Just unable to get it to fall.
Davis inside to Keita. Stumbling around. Burkett gets a piece of it. Back up. And they're going to call the foul on Burkett Butenjo.
Yeah, BYU kind of with the short roll there took advantage of Nebraska's baseline rotation. Burkett just a little out of position there. You mentioned Keita's ability to play around the rim. Just a great offensive rebounder. Kind of a pick and roll player, finishing at the rim, getting to the free throw line. Has struggled from the free throw line for his career. Just a 49% career free throw shooter. Knocks the first one down.
Last year was his first season with BYU and finished with 100 offensive rebounds, with the second most in program history. So Huskers are going to have to find him when the shot goes up.
Yeah, great job making both attempts. I know Coach Young had a chance to watch Nebraska practice yesterday. Coach Hoyer was kind of getting ready for a little bit more pressure. BYU thought maybe they could deny a little bit more athletic on the perimeter than a year ago.
And foul call underneath.
Just Mast and Keita just kind of in a little bit of a battle on the backside of rebound.
So Huskers ball underneath. Jamarcus Lawrence going to inbound. Great to see him back in a Husker uniform. Inside to Butenjo. Goes up strong over Keita, and it's good.
Yeah, really good patience by Berke there, playing off 2 feet.
Debonsa back the other way.
And so important for Nebraska to get back in transition. You see Debonsa there just sprinting the wing. One dribble, gets to the rim, and finishing through contact.
Keita guarding Mast tough here and out of bounds. BYU basketball.
Yeah, there you see that pressure. BYU defense really forcing Mast to over dribble there, creating that first turnover.
4-2, BYU leading this thing early. Robert Wright the third here with the ball. In the transfer from Baylor. There's Saunders for 3. Lawrence on the rebound. Tipped away by Debonsa. He's going to take it back the other way. Nice feed back over to Wright. Falling out of bounds and saves it to Debonsa. Kick out. BYU swinging it around and a travel.
Yeah, you see the impact that Debonsa has made already in the game. But, that length creates that turnover. There was a left-handed hammer pass to the corner. I mean, just amazing skill for the freshman. Reason why 12 NBA scouts are already here for the first exhibition game, his first collegiate game.
Lawrence, corner 3. Rims out.
Another good possession by Nebraska. A couple open shots, unable to knock either down.
Wright for 3. No good. Mast on the board. Yeah, Coach Hoiberg said watching film, this BYU team, elite athleticism. Going to challenge these Huskers from the outside. Mast for 3. That's good. That's what he can do.
Yeah, just, Keita is really terrific defender around the rim, shot blocker, and Mast, makes those defenders go out and defend the three-point line, which will then open up some driving lanes for the other players at Nebraska. So unique skill set. And I know Coach Hoiberger is happy to have Rink back in the lineup.
DeBonsa no good. Burke with the rebound.
Yeah, good shot by DeBonsa, getting to his spot, just unable to get the little pull up to fall.
Jacobson swings it over to Sanford for three. No good, but he doesn't miss often, or hasn't missed often in practice.
Yeah.
They're gonna call a foul inside on Jacobson.
Yeah, Sanford, really is going to be counted on to be a go-to perimeter scorer this year for Coach Hoiberg's group. As you mentioned, he's had a really good summer. Really the last month of practice has been one of their go-to perimeter players.
And checking into the game, fan favorite, Sam Hoiberg, the senior guard.
Yeah, really one of the 4 returners that Nebraska has that played a year ago on the roster, even though Lawrence was very familiar with the system, having transferred back from Rhode Island, and then obviously you get Mass back. So 6 players that have been in Coach Hoiberg's system.
Saunders on the drive, travel. So Husker basketball, a couple turnovers here early for BYU, and that takes us to our unders.
But also just get out in front of fans and compete against somebody different, guard some different actions.
Sanford, a couple misses there to start.
I think both teams have ran really good offense, just not able to make some open jump shots.
Saunders gets in trouble inside and throws it off of a Husker, so BYU basketball inbounds.
Mass has certainly had an impact on the game with the 1 3-pointer. DeBonsa's got a steal, a couple rebounds, a basket. Certainly the featured players have got off to quick starts here.
Hoiberg on Saunders. Here's Wright. Taking it inside, goes up. Nice finish.
Yeah, good patience by Wright, able to penetrate in the lane. Reverse layup to avoid the shot blocker.
Taken away by Wright. Back the other way. Nifty finish there by Wright. Back-to-back buckets for the sophomore. Transfer from Baylor.
Yeah, again, that denial pressure defense has bothered Nebraska. Creates some offense for BYU.
Keita guarding Rink tough out here on the key, top of the key. Lawrence, floater, no good. Battle inside for the board. Keita comes away with it. Saunders for three. That looked good from the moment it left his hands.
Yeah, just 16 points a year ago. Certainly will probably be asked to score as much with the group that Coach Young has put together.
Mass for three, answers on the other end.
But certainly, Saunders can really score when needed.
Saunders shot over 43% from the three-point line a year ago. There he goes again. Too strong on that one. Loose ball, Lawrence comes away with it.
Yeah, that was on 160 three-point attempts too, which, to shoot over 40 as a volume three-point shooter.
Mast is feeling it. He's feeling it. 3 threes for Ringbast. Tie ball game at 11.
Again, it's just such a hard position to guard as a five when traditionally you're asked to kind of defend the rim in the paint.
Long board, Hoiberg comes away with it. Over to Sanford. Sanford, three. Long rebound, out of bounds. He's over three to start, and he's a better shooter than that. He's gonna make a lot of threes. He's getting a feel for being in this arena in the front of this crowd.
Yeah, you can, sometimes you want to, really play well, right? He's, played at Iowa, which has a natural rivalry with Nebraska, so now you're coming in and really wanting to play your best and play well. But to your point, if you consistently shoot it well in practice, that will translate into games. And I don't think Coach Hoiberg is worried about Price's ability to make jump shots. He knows he's going to make plenty of those in a Husker uniform this season.
Some new Huskers on to the court. Braden Frager, the redshirt freshman, getting his first action. Coach Hoiberg said there's nobody more excited, no two people more excited to be back in this arena than Rink Mast and Braden Frager, who redshirted last year. Kendall Blue, one of the transfer senior guards from St. Thomas, very veteran guard. And Connor Sejan played very well for this Husker basketball team off the bench last year.
Yeah, and it's a little different lineup. You take Mast out, which played with Bear K as kind of a 4-5 combination. Now they're going a little smaller. They're going to play Bear K at the 5. And then Blue gives you a lot of Blue and Frager give you a lot of versatility. They're big, long, athletic wings that can guard bigger. Blue can guard point guards to 4, and the same with Frager. So you put a shooter out with a Sejan with a little smaller lineup than around Bear K. So I think this group for Nebraska this season gives Coach Hoiberg a little bit more flexibility. They can go big, or they can go small. Certainly, I think. Shooting the basketball from a percent-wise, I think he thinks maybe this group will be a little bit better shooting group than a year ago. But also you lost Juwan Gary and Bryce Williams, two terrific seniors that they're going to have to find a way to replace.
Ibanza to the rim, throws it down.
Yeah, great set for Coach Young. Just kind of a little ghost screen clear out for Debonsa. And just one dribble gets all the way to the rim for the finish.
Here's Frager over to Hoiberg. Swinging it around. Frager for 3 from the corner, no good. Debonsa again to the rim, and one.
There you see Debonsa's ability to play with the ball in his hands. Just got the rebound, out in transition. I think one of the teaching points for Nebraska is going to have to get bodies, back into the lane in transition, get people in front of Debonsa to try to make him a passer. Just tremendous talent. Already, 6 points, 3 rebounds, a steal.
So we'll look to convert here on the 3-point play. And gets the rim, gets the roll. 16-11 BYU. Bonds up to 7 points. Ring Mast checking back in for the Huskers. Nice move inside. He's off to a great start here. 11 points for Mast. Pump fake, 3 ball is down for Davis.
Davis was a 10, 11-point scorer a year ago at Southern Illinois. Just another versatile guard.
Careless with the basketball there for the Hustle. Out of the timeout.
And those are important lessons too. It's you want to give everybody on your roster an opportunity to play, get some film, and and teach from that.
Davis for 3. Lawrence with the rebound, kick up ahead to Garcia. Nice transition there for the Huskers. Back on the other end.
Yeah, you see Wright just is going to really stabilize BYU. Transfer from Baylor, really strong, really good off the bounce.
Takes it to the rim, draws the foul on a Sejan. So Wright will head to the free throw line.
Coach Young will put a lot of that midline ball screen with Keita, and you're not going to really be able to switch that. You got to be careful on the roll. Keita is so efficient, at the rim. Whether you dump it to him or whether you shoot it, then he's going to be able to go and rebound and miss. And then you spread the floor with Saunders and Debonsa, that midline ball screen. It's going to be really difficult for teams to defend this season.
Robert Wright III, a Big 12 all-freshman team member last season, averaged over 11 points and over 4 assists, actually set the Baylor single-season assist record, 148 assists. Also the single-game freshman assist record, dished out 13 times in a game for Baylor. So nice addition here for Kevin Young. Those 2 for 2.
And you can tell it's going to be an unselfish team for Coach Young this year. You know, DeBonce sets the table by being very unselfish, and then you add a point guard like Wright, as you mentioned, with great assist numbers, where you just create this culture of passing and finding shots for teammates.
There's Curtis. The nice feed from Asijan.
Yeah, Leo had really good international summer. Was playing in that same FIBA under-19 tournament.
Offensive rebound, another one for BYU. Davis puts it back up and in. Asijan for three. Heat check there. Inside, what a dish. And foul is called. Keita heads to the free throw line.
Sorry, that's going to be 2 on Asijan. I don't, certainly if it's on Asijan, it's probably on the ground, but I think Leo kind of pushed him from behind too, so it's going to put Keita on the free throw line for 2. Nebraska's played 11 players so far in this half. BYU has played, and they've played 11, so both coaches have played a lot of different rotations 13 minutes into this first half.
Keita knocks down the first one.
Yeah,
Hoiberg back in, Jacobson back in, and Sanford back in.
A great start by Keita. As I mentioned, certainly an area he must have worked on this summer. 3 of 3 so far in the game. It's so important to be able to make foul shots. Keita will be probably in a lot of the end of the game situations just with his ability to really defend and rebound.
You jinxed him there, though.
Well, 3 or 4 still off to a good start, but did the old announcer curse?
Jacobson in the corner, baseline drive. He draws a foul. Cale Jacobson, a very versatile piece for Coach Hoiberg, has played, all 5 positions, but at the Crown tournament when the Huskers won the whole thing, he was a big part of that, just stuffed the stat sheet and made the big plays when the Huskers needed it in really all of their games there in Vegas.
Yeah, just a veteran, had a great high school career here in Nebraska and has worked hard to improve a lot of areas of his game. Is really shooting the basketball well, but really a high IQ, knows their system inside and outside. As you said, they can play him, multiple spots, but defensively I think is where they feel like he's maybe ahead of some of the newer players on their roster.
What a feed inside right to Keita.
Again, that midline ball screen, just Nebraska does a poor job of rotating, and Wright's vision gets Keita the easy basket.
Sanford inside. He's fouled.
Yeah, Sanford's shown some versatility. Known as kind of a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, but his first shot of the game was kind of a shot fake pull-up, and there you see he's turned that first jump shot down, gets to the basket, and he's going to get himself to the free throw line.
He's 0 for 3 to start, and a lot of times that's a good way to get yourself going, is to get to the free throw line.
Great point, Jessica. Absolutely. You see the ball go through. Just kind of allows you to excel a little bit. Again, I think Sanford's such a great fit for just Coach Hoiberg and how he coaches offense and recruits offense.
Grew up going to Fred Hoiberg basketball camps at Iowa State. Goes 2 for 2. Huskers back up by 1, 34-33, 6:12 to play here in the first half. This has been a fun one.
Yeah, you knew both teams were very capable offensively. Certainly, first 4-minute timeout, they struggled, but now they've settled into this game, and both teams playing at a high level.
Staten out of bounds there. Trying to pull down another offensive rebound. Husker basketball. Lawrence over to Mast. Knocked away. BYU back the other way. DeBonsa draws another foul. This one on Jacobson. 2 fouls for Kel Jacobson.
Yeah, Kennard Davis did a great job of rotating over, getting that steal from
Crowd
Mast.
doesn't like it.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of ball there. But you see just DeBonce's length and pace of taking the ball from the defensive end and getting out in transition offense. It's going to be something that teams are going to have to adjust for and really load to the basketball and try to make him a passer, which he's willing to do, which is going to open up a lot of shots in the corners for BYU this season.
He's into double figures, 10 points, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He's done a good job of getting himself to the free throw line.
Yeah, and that's a great skill too. Players that can draw fouls, you get teams in foul trouble, and obviously he's gonna.
Bryce Williams did that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you get into the bonus faster, which helps your team. You take sometimes you eliminate players by getting them in foul trouble. So sometimes it's not just the points you score; they can impact the game in a lot of different ways.
Mast working inside. Kick out to Blue for 3. He knocks it down. That's what Ring Mast can do as well. He doesn't just shoot threes. He's a great passer.
Well, he posted and got a basket about at the 10-minute mark, and now they send a double team, and he's such a great passer. He gets a teammate a 3, to your point, just impacts the game in so many areas.
Hoiberg finds himself alone, and one for Sam Hoiberg.
They have some different actions, things that they guarded well, things that they need to go back and get better. They play North Carolina to open, so they certainly, this is an important game for them as, they have one of the, top programs in the country coming into Utah to play them.
Hoiberg makes it a 3-point play, gives the Huskers a 5-point lead. Davis over to Saunders. Saunders for 3. That one's good.
Yeah, just a great job of using a dribble to kind of separate. Just tremendous separation off of Price, which gets one dribble.
Blue to Lawrence. Long rebound, Blue. Sanford knocks it down. His first 3.
Again, another offensive rebound, creates an extra possession. You called it. Sanford got 2 free throws to fall and, took that shot in rhythm with confidence.
DeBonsa, wow. How do you guard that?
You don't. Yeah, it's just, he got to the mid-range, just elevates at 6'9" over the top of those defenders.
Mast, another 3. He is 5 for 5 from behind the arc.
Yeah, Staten just not able to really get out, and that'll be an area that Staten improves on, right? Just as you guard college, a lot of 3-point shots. So, you went from averaging less than 8 a year ago to 9 of 19 already in the first half. So, certainly has to feel good about that. As you mentioned, multiple players have made a 3. With 5 of them coming from your 6'9", 7th-year senior Rick Mast.
5 for 5 from 3-point. Robert Wright, the third here, for 1-1. Knocks down the first one. Wright's got 7 points, 3 assists. Make it 8. 46-42, Nebraska. Hoiberg out to Sanford. Sanford into the lane, kick out to Lawrence. Mass falls down in the lane. Blue for three. Off the mark, out of bounds. BYU basketball.
Yeah, BYU made a nice adjustment there. They actually switched the ball screen with Mass, which created kind of a mismatch. So Nebraska moved Mass into the post, just not able to really take advantage of that matchup. Good possession by BYU. Good adjustment by Coach Young. Now, Coach Hoiberg will probably, look at that adjustment and figure out the best spot to put Mass in for their offense.
Ivanza working on Sanford. There's a double team. Kick out to Wright. Wright in the paint. Kick out to Dibonsa. Three is good. Seeing a little bit of everything from the #1 overall recruit. Freshman phenom up to 16 points.
Yeah, really good possession by BYU. Forced Nebraska to double the post. A good job of finding the backside shooter, Dibonsa.
Boop a little too aggressive there on Mass. Picks up the foul. So Huskers into the bonus. That is the 7th team foul on BYU. Miss from the free throw line. And Prager with the hustle play. So it goes out of bounds, Nebraska basketball.
Yeah, good job by Prager, just staying active.
46-45 Nebraska. Blue set to inbounds here. Lawrence gets it set here. Prager on the take. Oh, rims out.
A good aggressive drive by Prager, just not able to get the finish to fall.
Dibonsa called for the travel, trying to kick it back out to Saunders.
Yeah, both teams have done a pretty good job taking care of the basketball. That's 5 turnovers now for BYU, 5 for Nebraska. I think both coaches would want to stay under that, that 12 range for team turnovers for a game.
Lawrence inside to Mast. Mast working on Dibonsa. Turnaround, too strong. Rebound BYU. Here comes Wright. Kick out to Dibonsa for three. He knocks down another one.
Has led to them on 2 threes and a 6-0 run to take the lead.
Sandford, short, just inside the three-point line. Saunders, kick out. Here's Wright. To the rim. Mass with the rebound. 90 seconds left to play here in the first half. 48-46 BYU. Inside to Prager. Denied by Dibonsa. Kick up. BYU on the take and finish. No good. Back up, though, is Boop.
Yeah, good job by BYU again, taking either a block shot or turnover, getting out in transition, putting pressure on that Nebraska defense.
Under a minute. BYU up 4 inside to Mast. And more transition. Prager with a nice defensive play. Kick out to Blue. Good recovery by BYU.
About a 16-second differential, the shot clock to game clock.
Prager flying all over the place. That one out of bounds. Cougar basketball.
Again, Nebraska's been a little quick. Some of those shots at the rim have been contested. BYU has blocked a couple have come off the rim long. That's led to BYU to get out in transition offense.
Shot clock has been turned off, 29.3. BYU again with the 4-point lead.
You mentioned earlier just BYU's length, just the size around the rim. I feel like Nebraska's maybe forced a few of those shots. And credit BYU, they, down 46-43. Coach Young took that timeout. They've really responded well. Chance to go up by more than 2 possessions here with a basket.
Dibonsa here, 5 left to play, 4-3, turnaround jumper. No good. Prager with a big rebound. And that does it.
About just not letting him get so many easy open shots.
Huskers with the ball here to start the second half. Go with their original starting 5. Berke Buyutengel back in for Nebraska. Mast in the corner. Working inside. Turnaround jumper on the baseline. Jamarcus Lawrence there for the tip-in.
Yeah, BYU did a really good job of defending a lot of actions for Nebraska. Forced kind of a tough shot, but credit Lawrence. Just, use his athletic ability to get on that offensive backboard and get the putback.
Travel on Saunders gives the ball back to Nebraska. Jamarcus Lawrence and Rink Mass played on the team that went to the NCAA tournament, very familiar with playing with each other. Nice feed inside from Mass to Buyutengel.
So there you see the adjustment. So they switched the ball screen. So Mass short rolls it, catches it kind of in the mid post where he was able to find, Berke Buyutengel rolling to the rim on the backside. So good adjustment.
Saunders fake, no good. Lawrence gonna push. Pulls it out over to Mass. Mass for 3. 6 for 6. Picks up where he left off in the first half.
And Coach Young actually is starting Boscovich just as a little bit more mobile defender. You could just see Boscovich like, Coach, I got there with my hand and I just couldn't get him to miss. Just kind of shook his head as Mass is having one of those games.
Davis with the bucket back on the other end. Jacobson inside. Kick out, Sanford. Nice take and finish for Bryce Sanford.
Yeah, good job by Jacobson. Just that paint touch, play off 2 feet. And then Sanford again, scouting reputation has him as a really good open 3-point shooter. Shot fake's one of the best moves that you can do. Lifts his defender, gets to the basket with a tough finish.
Dibonsa inside. Off the block, puts it back up.
Yeah, 2 really good athletic plays. Buyutengel with the block, and then Dibonsa just stays with it. Gets the easy putback for his 20th and 21st points.
Lawrence, kick out to Sanford. Working on Saunders. To Jacobson, Buyutengel swings it over to Lawrence. Step back 3, short. Kostic with the rebound.
Yeah, another good half court possession for BYU. Forces the late, tough 3-point shot by Lawrence.
Kostic for 3. Buyutengel with the board.
Yeah, good job by Nebraska. Blocking out, securing the defensive rebound.
Lawrence over to Jacobson. Sanford for 3. That's good.
Good action there. Jacobson kind of ghosts the ball screen, and they run a little pinch screen on the backside for Sanford. Was able to get him a wide open 3-point shot.
Sanford into double figures with 10. Saunders, another travel. Huskers have done a good job defensively on the Cougars returning leading scorer.
Yeah, again, Jacobson does a nice job. Just kind of fighting that drive from Saunders. And Saunders has a little different role this year, right? You've added some pieces, where he's probably trying to figure out where his shots are going to come from.
Mast gets.
Right now you don't have Wright on the floor for BYU, which, will play a lot of minutes at their point guard position. Coach Young's looking at some different lineups here.
Besieging in for Mast after he draws the foul.
Got number 6, Kostic, is playing some early minutes in this second half. Again, you don't as much as these coaches are competitors, and they'd love to see that final score favoring their team, I think there's a bigger picture here, and they both are looking at some different lineups and some different personnel.
Saunders on Sanford. Kick over to a Sejan. Sejan in the lane. Up and in.
Again, it's something little, but normally when a guard drives it to the rim, you have to play through a second line of defense with a rim protector. But when your bigs, like Mast and even Berke can step out and shoot it, you just open the floor. You have to be able to go out and guard them, which then allows your guards to drive and not have to finish against that second level of defense. So, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet all the time, but just 4s and 5s challenges.
Lawrence out to Sanford. Back over to Lawrence. Sejan for 3. Drains it.
Yeah, that's a tough shot for Connor. Very, very good step-up 3 shooter, but that one was off the dribble going left.
Falling down.
Good range.
Kostic responds on the other end.
A nice answer by BYU there to keep it at 6.
Sejan. Back-to-back for Connor Sejan.
Again, a shot fake, just such a weapon for players if you can.
We got a whistle here. Jamarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence
picks up the foul.
Kennard Davis just kind of got tied up. Neither wanted to kind of let the other one go, and they're going to call a foul on Lawrence.
Sejan up to 14 points, 4 of 7 from 3-point. Inside to Saunders, reverse layup is good.
Yeah, good job by Coach Young getting Saunders involved. Nice little sideline out of bounds play, and that's one of those things that I think if this was the season and the game mattered, Nebraska probably wouldn't have fell asleep on that through scouting. You would have known that was probably a play that they were going to run, but it's such early in the year, you just don't have a lot of data and stuff on the other team, and BYU executed that for the basket.
Offensive foul on Saunders.
Yeah, I feel like Saunders has been much more aggressive here in this second half, just looking to kind of probe and attack. They kind of,
but it's good to get some other players going, as we've seen with Mast on the bench. Frager on to Bonsa. Knocked away by Hoiberg. Loose ball, Saunders comes away with it. Draws the foul, he'll head to the free throw line. Sam Hoiberg just gets his hands on so many basketballs.
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I mean, Sam's a really good athlete, right? He's got good quickness, but more than that, I think he's a well-studied. He understands the game. He's a fifth-year player. He saw that he kind of blew up that. If you go back and watch that highlight, he knew that screen was coming, where he was able to blow it up, get to the inside of it. And just credit Saunders. Saunders is a crafty veteran too. He kind of stayed with it, collected the loose ball, and got himself to the free throw line. But
rare miss from Saunders there on the first free throw.
Yeah, was over 80% from the hardest feat in as an offensive player is to be in the 90-50-40 club. That's 90% from the free throw, 50 from the 2, and 40 from the 3. He was in the 80-50-40, which is still a really elite club. And there he misses 2 free throws, which is, as an 80-plus free throw shooter, that's probably won't happen again this season.
I was going to say not going to happen very often. Kick out to Frager. 10 on the shot clock. For to Hoiberg. Hoiberg on the drive. Kick out to Mast. 4-3. 7 for 7. What a return for Rick Mast back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Debonsa back on the other end. Quiets the crowd.
Yeah, we're seeing really 2 high-level performances here today. I mean,
quite the duel.
I mean, Mast hits the 7-3, and then you see Debonsa just athleticism, getting out, running that left wing and attacking the rim effortlessly. But again, you know, Coach Sam Hoiberg drives in, gets to 2 feet. There you see the foul, but the previous possession, and then BYU has no understanding of where Mast is, and I looked over at the BYU staff, and they're just so frustrated. It's like, you know, the one player that you can't not find on the court right now is Rick Mast, and you know, again, just, you know, early in the season, you know, great teaching points that these coaching staffs will do a good job of allowing their kids to improve as, you know, the next couple weeks go by before it counts for real.
Bryce Sanford, Jamarcus Lawrence back in for Nebraska, along with Kendall Blue. Lawrence on the drive. Can't get it to go. BYU with the board.
Yeah, good job by Mast. He kind of was able to kind of seal and allow Lawrence to drive in and have a chance to finish that. Just couldn't get the layup to drop.
Saunders for 3, knocks that one down. Cuts it to 8, 76-68.
Yeah, get Saunders into double figures now with 11.
Oh, his first miss of the day. Blue. Loose ball out of bounds, Nebraska basketball.
Yeah, good effort by Nebraska, but that was Mast's probably most difficult 3 of his attempts. And then I really like it. Lawrence, as a senior, makes the extra pass and gets Blue the open 3, and then just the commitment for everybody going in and rebounding. Was able to save the possession with the deflection out of bounds.
12 on the shot clock. Lawrence on the drive. Nice feed to Mast. 2-pointer for Ring Mast. Easy lay in there.
Again, Lawrence, senior point guard. Nice
they play
job.
well together. Kick out. Saunders for 3. Misses everything. Crowd's going to let him know about it. Kostic for 3, knocks it down.
Yeah, Kostic second 3, hit one from the right corner, that one from the left corner. Kind of quiets the Nebraska crowd.
Taken away by Boop, but a little aggressive. Foul called on Ring Mast.
Yeah, good job by Boop. Just really forcing Mast off the block, using his athleticism in that denial, and then Mast, you know, kind of held Boop on that loose ball and was caught for the foul.
17 fouls, so BYU going to be in the bonus from here on out. 8:16 left in the second. 7-point lead for Nebraska, 78-71. Hadim Boop to the free throw line. Knocks down the first one.
Yeah, just Nebraska's 7th turnover for the game. Just kind of looking at rebounding stats here. You know, BYU is 9 offensive rebounds, which, you know, I think that's an area that in the second half BYU's done a really good job of being more active on the backboard.
Boop 2 for 2. He's into double figures with 10. Redshirt freshman, redshirted last year, joined the team in December. So lots of young talent here for Kevin Young. 5-point game. Inside. Ring Mast all alone.
Yeah, BYU is switching now that Mast is at the 5, and Nebraska's, you know, just, it's called a split action. That time Nebraska slipped it with Mast, and BYU just not able to defend it. You know, really good offensive basketball for Nebraska.
23 team assists on 29 field goals.
That's incredible. You have to be really happy with that, and, you know, speaks to the culture that, you know, they have. You know, Rink kind of agreed to come back and rehab from that knee injury, and, you know, potentially come back for the 7th season. I'm sure Coach Hubbard's really happy now after watching this performance, and, you know, just a really efficient game. He's, you know, not only has scored it well, 29 points, but he's also opened the floor. He's got 3 assists. You know, they've put him in some screening sequences that have opened up things for other teammates as well.
Huskers break the full court pressure. Sanford, nice take and finish. On the left-handed side.
You see Frager's, length and athleticism. Really like his ability to impact the game. With his length, ability to drive it.
8 on the
very
shot
capable
clock.
shooter.
Kostic for deep. BYU with another offensive rebound. There's a 3 from Boskovic.
Yeah, really big possession for BYU. Just chased down that rebound. And then that 3 cuts it back to 6. Probably disappointed for Nebraska to not finish that possession with a good defensive rebound.
Frager draws the foul on the floor.
Nice action by Coach Hoiberg there. Puts Frager in the middle of the floor. Left-handed, gets him going to a strong hand. Just nice execution, putting your players in situations to be successful.
Cougars with 5 team fouls, so Huskers take it out of bounds here. Out to Rink, open lane. Up and in. 84-76. Saunders for 3. Rims out. Nice hustle
great
play.
hustle.
Bernard Davis Jr. Gives BYU another look at it here. Boskovic, kick out. 3 on the way for Diamande. Off the mark.
Yeah, good hustle by Davis to get that possession back. Not able to capitalize with the open 3. And Nebraska did a better job of blocking out and securing the defensive rebound.
Season on the take. Kicks it out to Mast. Oh. Little behind the back pass there for the Huskers.
And Jacobson back on the floor. Hoiberg, Coach Lawrence, a couple of your better defenders. Berkay now at the 5.
Ibanza draws another foul. He'll head back to the free throw line. Although his first free throws here coming up for the second half. He's 5 for 5 in the first half, so his first trip.
Yeah, I think, that first half, really found offense, scored for himself, transition threes. He'd been, a little bit more of a facilitator in this half. Not passive, but just, really good passer. Has found his teammates for some baskets. I think late in the game, you'll see him, try to take over, maybe, go make the play that BYU needs him to make to either finish games or in this situation, try to get them back into the game. There you see his, ability to get to the foul line. You cut it back to 6 here. BYU just needs to stop. You get a stop, a bucket, and another stop, and you're going to have a chance for this game to play itself out over the last couple minutes with a chance to win on the road.
Ivanza up to 27 points, 7 for 7 from the free throw line, 88-82. 3:15 left to play in the second. Esijan for 3. Can't get that one to go.
Yeah, same play that Coach Hoiberg got Sanford the 3. Came back with it with Esijan. Again, a good look, good execution, just not able to knock it down.
Ivanza too strong on that one. Mass pulls down the rebound up to Esijan. Marcus Lawrence going to get it all set.
Sorry, Jessica. Pretty good defense by Hoiberg there. Just kind of stayed in front, walled up. Devonsa still was able to get a really good look at the rim. Just couldn't get it to drop.
Lawrence on the take. Devonsa with the rebound. Goes coast to coast and 1. .29 for Devonsa. Head to the free throw line, try to make it a 3-point play. 88-84. 2:23 left in the second.
Yeah, just kind of exactly what I kind of described. Debanza's really taken over the game here late. BYU gets a couple stops. It's going to be a one-possession game after this free throw.
8 for 8, 30 points for Debanza.
For Nebraska, last year you knew where the ball was going. It went to Bryce Williams late. Who's going to be that player now?
Hoiberg in the take, kick out. And Hoiberg fouled on the drive. So 17 fouls now for BYU. So Nebraska now also in the bonus. Hoiberg will head to the free throw line. Jamarcus Lawrence back in for Connor Esijan.
Yeah, I do think Coach Hoiberg has some versatility here. Lawrence comes in as a good defender. Kind of an OD substitution with Esijan.
Hoiberg knocks down the first one.
And then, based on BYU playing, kind of a bigger lineup, Coach Hoiberg has elected to leave both Mast and BK out on the court together. Gives Nebraska some size with Sanford as a 6'8" 3.
Second free throw. Brings the lead back up to 5. Crowd getting loud. Saunders for 3, short. Buyuten Joe with the rebound.
Yeah, good half-court defense by Sam Hoiberg there. Just made that really difficult.
Saunders called for the foul. 1:43 left in the second, 90-85 Nebraska, and Hoiberg going back to the free throw line here.
BYU is